don't like others. Yes, all right. Next question. That's the world we live in now. Females are tighter than ladies. Another thing I learned is that women are only loyal to something.
He says these shocking and bewildering ideas to get a rise out of people. Those reactions, whether they're good or bad, lead to more views and obviously fame and followers. A strategy is of this time.
I know exactly what I'm talking about.
He isn't playing a character. He does believe what he says. But the way he says these things is calculated. You can find hours and hours of content where he sits down and talks about things like, should you let your girlfriend go to the club? And can your girlfriend have a guy best friend? But I want to go deeper. Where does this behavior come from? Why does he have all these shocking allegations against him? Let's take a look at the dark side of Andrew Tate. Andrew's father, Emory Tate, was described by his peers as somewhat of a superhero. He was a staff sergeant in the U.S. Air Force who was fluent in Russian, Spanish, German, and English, a martial artist as well. But most notably, he was a chess international master who had many victories over grandmasters. A grandmaster is the highest level you can achieve as a chess player. To this day, the chess world was confused why he was never officially a GM when he met all of the qualifications. Emory was a trailblazer and inspiration for black chess players around the world. Unfortunately, chess doesn't pay the bills. Emory was poor. He competed in tournaments and pickup games in the park for money to get to his next location or next meal. He raised his 3 children to think like him. Think of life like a chess match. Every move is calculated, knowing what 1, 2, or even 10 moves will come after that. Emory was nomadic, multicultural, and free. He encouraged his children to do the same way. Andrew grew up in Gary, Indiana, notoriously one of the worst places in America. He took a liking to chess. At age 5, he was an Indiana state champion. At 6 years old, he was playing against 3 10-year-olds and winning. Then at age 11, his parents got divorced, and his mother moved him and the kids to Luton, England. This is where he would grow up. Living with his mother meant that he no longer had a chess coach. He no longer spent 3 to 4 hours a day with his dad learning strategy. All he had was his younger brother Tristan, which altered his life path immensely. He picked up fighting around age 15, which became his new passion. Fighting and chess are similar in 2 ways. Each sport is a one-on-one battle between 2 people. There's basically no luck involved. Every move, movement, punch, and piece move needs to be calculated. Your opponent must react based on your choice. The biggest difference is that fighting is obviously physically demanding and mentally challenging, whereas chess is only mental. Because of his chess background, he was already mentally ready. As he grew tall and strong, he obeyed his trainer and worked to become a 6'4", 200-pound kickboxing mixed martial artist. In the early 2000s, he fought in an MMA league and a kickboxing league. He had a 3-2 amateur record in the MMA Ultimate Warrior Challenge in the UK. In his pro MMA debut, he knocked out Shane Kavanaugh. However, he stuck to kickboxing since he made more money from it. In his International Sport Kickboxing Association career, he lost his first 2 fights and went on a 4 consecutive win streak before getting a title shot against Paul Randall in 2009. He won the Cruiserweight Championship in this bout. Then he defeated Daniel Hughes for the IKF Cruiserweight title. But before social media dominated our world, someone like Andrew had to resort to more classic media like radio and TV to get his name out there and promote fights. Around 2009, he explored the world of reality TV. The Ultimate Traveler was the first show Andrew appeared on. The concept was 6 amateur backpackers competing for $12,000 by trying to navigate Indonesian challenges with no knowledge of the country. On this show, it was clear Andrew was the same guy he is now, just not a millionaire.
Me and her are completely opposite trade-offs. And she wants the executive class and you know, and a nice hotel, etc. And she expects me to front half my travel with money rather than going. If I was really broke, she keeps dropping hints, but she dropped. I'm not going to spend money unless I want to.
His brother Tristan, who had a very similar life path, was on Shipwrecked, an island survival reality show. The 2 became go-tos in Europe reality TV for producers that needed tenacious and cocky young men. He got a shot at the ISKA World Light Heavyweight title on a 3-day notice against Frenchman Jean Benoit. He lost. However, his team submitted a video of the fight and demanded a rematch, in which he was granted, and won the second time by knockout in the 8th round, making him world champion for the very first time.
This is Andrew Tate. I am the ISKA Kickboxing World Champion, the ISKA World's Most Amazing Person, funny, tall, muscly.
By the time he was 27, he had multiple world titles and successfully defended them. He had a number of different fights in different leagues all around the world, such as Infusion Live, IKF, and ISKA.
This is a world title, and this means that I am the best kickboxer in the world. Now, because I'm doing
I actually 2 world titles at 2 different points. So while you're the best in the world at nothing, you're not even the best in your talent at anything. I'm the best in the world twice.
Andrew knew he was losing the love for fighting, but he was clearly worried that his life would spiral out of control if he didn't have enough money to keep him from being bored.
If I had enough money to constantly entertain myself, unless I'm a billionaire, I need something that keeps me focused and keeps me occupied in life.
It was time to build his empire. In 2015, he quit fighting to solely focus on making money. He sat down with his brother Tristan and said, "How can we get rich?" They spent countless hours on YouTube, researching the Federal Reserve, banking institutions, inflation, investing, and how money works. One day while scrolling through the internet, he saw an ad, "Talk to Live Girls Now," which brought him to a live stream where he could communicate with a real woman. He immediately realized the opportunity of creating a webcam business because he conveniently had 6 girlfriends in different countries. Evidently, being a world-class athlete gets women very interested in you, even if you aren't rich. He told them all to fly to London because he had a business proposal. When they got there, they all looked at each other shocked. 2 of them felt betrayed and left. 4 of them heard his business plan, and only 2 of them stayed. So it was just the Tate brothers and their 2 girls. The girls would do their thing on camera, chat with the men. They had a keyboard that was unplugged, but Andrew would sit behind the computer off camera and talk to the men in the live chat, pretending to be the girls. And they would do things or say things in exchange for money. He said he was generating around $3,000 per day.
And once the girls learned they could do it themselves, then I thought, I need some more chicks.
In order to grow his business efficiently, he needed to hire women who would offer themselves for his service, but not have the ambition or expertise to build a website, run ads to get traffic, and converse with men online, maintain their finances, pay for the internet, and all the overhead that goes along with running an online business.
A cam girl is much more a therapist than she is a porn star. Like, she can make so much money from showing her boobs, whatever, but she makes the big money from making these guys like her, being funny, banter.
Basically, he was building what exists on Twitch today in the hot tub section. At his peak, he had 75 women working for him at 4 different locations. However, this was a huge mistake, according to him.
75 women worked for me at the peak of it all. But that was a mistake, because when you have a bunch of girls working for you like that, the only way you can motivate them is with money. When I started, the girls worked for me because they loved me. Right? That's the old school pimp game.
Downsizing to just 8 women, 4 of which were his girlfriends, and 4 were his brother Tristan's girlfriends, was when they all worked together to make the most money they ever had. Since they were all motivated, and in his words, in love with him, they were able to generate $400,000 per month with his online cam business.
That when a girl worked for me, it was 50-50. So the girls who loved me and worked with me, our main girlfriends, they get probably around 20% of their money. I keep 80% of the money.
Some people immediately look at this and think, well, he's a pimp, insinuating that these women are afraid of him, and he's forcing them into doing work that they don't want to do.
People have this idea that, oh, you're a pimp. You just get these girls who say work, and they're scared of you, and they just work. It's bullshit. I was doing this in London. A girl could have walked out the door any day, called the police on me any day, and they didn't. They wanted to be with me because they genuinely understood that their life was better if they obeyed.
I was sick of men here. Our whole life, man. They hurt us at every moment. I doing it, but it felt good for me. So
Andrew uses strong words like "obey me," which is what tends to get him in trouble a lot. His strong diction indicates he is totalitarian and dictator-like. But some people argue that he just speaks as clearly and directly as he can. If he said, "My girls trusted my ambition and leadership," people might not be as shocked. But when you read what he wrote on his website, it insinuates that his girlfriends were coerced into working for him, and maybe didn't leave because of fear. I've had over 75 girls work for me, and my business model is different than 99% of webcam studio owners. Over 50% of my employees were actually my girlfriend at the time, and none were in the adult entertainment industry before they met me. Sadly, in 2015, Emery Tate passed away unsuspectedly during a chess match in California. He was 56 years old. May he rest in peace. Now retired from fighting, he needs to occupy his time. He gets invited to do the show Big Brother UK for its 17th season. The format of the show is very similar to a typical reality series. A bunch of contestants in a house. They have to do challenges to maintain status in the house. One person gets voted on each week until the last person ends with a cash prize. We all know the challenges are like 10% of why people watch, and 90% of the drama, relationships, toxicity, and chaos that comes with strangers living together.